Hello everybody, this is Sean with the Hands-On Science Center. Thank you for tuning in for our very next take-home science kit. I'm here with our Director of Education, Olga. And we got something really fun for you today. Flying circuits. Now your parents might get that reference, you kids aren't going to get the reference, doesn't matter. But today is flying circuits. So we've got a dual reference going on here, Olga. Is there some sort of special day that's close by?
Yes, on May 8th, we are going to be celebrating World Migratory Bird Day.
That's right. Yeah, that's a holiday celebrated throughout the world, celebrating all the really cool migratory birds. Now, this kit really isn't about birds, though, is it?
No, not really. It's more on the electricity side, but we are going to make a really cool airplane in here, or if you follow other steps, you could make an origami bird as well.
Cool. So we kind of just, it's not about birds, it's about circuits and electronics, but we just kind of threw in a reference, a little thumbs up to World Migratory Bird Day. So we'll get into that in just a little bit, but let's go ahead and dive into our kit and see what we got. Alright, so we are going to see what is in our kit here. First thing you want to grab out, your booklet. Very important. You're going to need that. I'm going to set that right to the side. And then we have 3 sheets of paper. You got 2 blank pieces. And then this one, kind of a weird template on there. It's not going to make any sense. It looks really confusing. It'll make sense when we get to it. For now, just set it aside. And we got our pencil. We got some regular transparent tape. Then we got this cool stuff. You should have 2 strips of this. This is actually a copper tape. That's actually a real metal copper on there. And it's sticky on one side, and it's tape. And we're going to use that. Very important for making a what? What are we making today?
We are going to be making a flying circuit.
So making our circuits. So we need
usually
that.
When you think of metal, you think of something really hard, right? And cold and kind of shiny. But
a real thin piece of copper.
This is tape.
We got some scissors.
Yeah.
And then you have this little baggie. So I'm going to set this aside. Inside your little bag, don't open it yet because you don't want to lose these little pieces. But you should have this battery. And then a little assortment of these little colorful things. These are actually, what are these, Olga?
They are LED lights, light-emitting diode lights. Different colors, too.
So a whole variety of those. We'll use those in a second. All right, so first thing you want to do, grab your book and turn to this first page. All right, we got a couple questions on here. What we'd like you to do is, it's kind of a little pre-quiz to kind of see what you already know. Now, a lot of people don't like taking tests or quizzes, but it actually helps us. Why is this important, Olga, for them to do this before they actually read the book?
Well, it's important so we know that the viewers at home are learning a thing or two from our kids. So it helps us kind of keep track of what the kids already know at home, because if you know everything, then what's the point of doing this activity?
Exactly. So you have this little thing. We want you to do this first, please. At the end of the book, you have a little post quiz. And guess what? It's exactly the same questions. So if you don't know the questions now, that's fine. We don't really expect you to get them all right because we want to teach you and see if you learn it and then check again at the end. So just a second, if you can go ahead and pause. One thing we would like is if your parents can take a picture of the little pre-test and post-test after you do them and send them to us either through email at info@hosctn.org or just direct message us on Facebook. That way we have a record of what we're actually teaching. It actually helps with grants and stuff like that too, knowing these numbers and making sure our programs are working so we can make them better if we need to. So go ahead and hit pause right now and do your little pre-quiz. All right, welcome back everybody. Hopefully you did your little pre-quiz and we are ready to get started. So you can go ahead and move on to this next page in our book. Olga's going to talk about it a little bit, but you can also read along if you'd like. So it says, all about electricity. Electricity is everywhere. So what is it? What actually is electricity?
Well, electricity is a form of energy where electrons are flowing from one end, from a negative end to the positive end, and it goes through an electrical source of some sort.
Okay, so it's basically just a movement of these electrons, right?
Yes.
So pretty simple. It doesn't seem like that could actually, power stuff, but it really does. So let's see.
It is a flow of current.
Okay, so current, that's kind of an important vocabulary word there. Let's see, so what about a circuit? What is a circuit? Because that's the name of our kit, flying circuits.
So a circuit is, you have two kinds. You have a closed circuit and an open circuit. So when those electrons can flow and through the circuits and create a current, as long as there's no open switches, if you have an open switch, then it's an open-ended circuit. But and then you don't have those electrons that are able to go through the circuit, so then you can't light up whatever you're trying to light up in terms of electricity-wise. Now, closed circuit is when you have all your switches closed, and then you're able to let those electrons move through the current, through the circuit, and you can light your little light up or your battery up or whatever your source is that you're trying to turn on.
All right, so we got actually a little picture in here showing an open current and a closed current. Probably have a nice pop-up on front of our faces here, but it shows you there. So you can see the little arrows are the movement of those electrons, and they're coming out of a battery, kind of on the plus side, and going to whatever you're trying to run, like a light bulb here, and then it goes out of the light bulb back into the negative side of the battery. So that is a closed circuit, one full circle. You can see on the other side, an open circuit is when the circle is not complete.
Exactly.
So, very simple.
Yeah.
So we talked about this stuff. It's kind of really pretty, this copper tape. Why copper?
Because copper is a really good conductor of electricity. So what a conductor of electricity means is something, a substance that is really good at allowing electricity to flow through it. So what happens is with conductors is usually, in copper in this case, is the outer layer shell of the copper, the electrons are able to attach on very easily to others. So therefore, it's very good at keeping electricity from flowing through. Now, we have other conductors that, other elements such as iron. You have also silver as well, but silver is really expensive.
Yeah.
If we had real silver, these can't be free. If this was silver, let's just put it that way. So what's really cool about copper is used all over the world as conductors of electricity everywhere.
Cool.
So through different, manufacturers, through different items, any other places, and it can be recycled as well. So, and it's not very, very expensive, but it holds electricity very, very well.
All right, so I think that's another important vocabulary word, conductors, something that lets electricity pass through it. So here's another vocabulary word, insulators. What is an insulator?
Yeah, so an insulator is very important to have when you're, messing with or trying to fix electricity, or you're working with electricity, because it stops electricity from flowing. When I mean stops, I mean more like it protects the electricity from leaving a certain circuit. So for an example, you would have wood, or you would have maybe air as an insulator. You might have rubber as well. So if you think about maybe like a outlet, like a plug that goes into an outlet, you're not going to, if I want to plug my TV in or my phone in, I'm not going to be plugging a copper or silver wire right into the wall, because I'm going to get electrocuted, and that cannot end up really good. So usually you see that plastic filament that covers on the outside, that stops you from getting electrocuted.
So pretty much kind of the opposite of a conductor, right?
Exactly, it's exactly opposite.
All right. So then our next little word here in orange is batteries. The battery has two terminals. All right, so that's the positive and the negative, right? And it says the parts of the battery are designed to convert chemical energy into electrical.
Yep.
Very good. So there's actually chemicals inside a battery?
Yes, there is. And what batteries have is they have potential energy. So what potential energy means is that it's energy that is stored. So when you buy a battery, maybe a set of, this is just so much fun to play with, I'm going to put it down. When you buy batteries from the store, they already have that energy that's stored in there. And then when you have kinetic energy, that's energy that's being used as well.
Excellent. All right, so a couple more good vocabulary words
And
there.
you have a positive and a minus side to a battery. So that's usually when you have and it's any battery. Today we have a little small circular one. It's a 3-volt battery. You'll have positive on one side, negative on the other. But then if you buy like a AA battery or a AAA, you'll usually see like a plus or a minus side. So it is, the electricity is flowing in one direction. It's a direct current. That's why we don't have positive or minus on outlets on the wall, because at our home we have alternating current. So that's another fun little fact.
All right, so the next page says, let there be light. So I have a feeling it's going to start to get interesting here.
Yes.
So we are going to take what we learned and we are going to make our own electrical circuit. So very, very neat. So it says here, we will learn how to make an LED lit plane, paper airplane. So we're going to do that. And since it's close to World Migratory Bird Day, you can even challenge yourself. So first we're going to grab this piece of paper here, the one that I said looks really confusing. This is going to be the one that you want to start with. This we're going to make a paper airplane out of, and we are going to actually make a paper airplane light up. And then we got a couple other pieces of paper for if you want to try it again, or if you want to challenge yourself. And we're going to talk about the challenge in just a little bit. But we are going to go ahead and move right on into our book. We're going to start with the paper airplane. So it says materials. We went over that. All right, so right here in blue is kind of what I was saying. This procedure is for making the light-up paper airplane. If you want to challenge yourself, you can read over these instructions and all these steps, and then to celebrate World Migratory Bird Day, to bring that tie in, you can actually try to make an origami swan that lights up. Or if you really want a hard challenge, this one's tough. You can try to make an origami crane that lights up. Now this one's even a challenge for the parents. Now I know there's a lot of parents out there doing these kits with their kids. This is fun for you too, so you can give that a shot if you want. You should have enough supplies to make 2. All right, so one more important note. It says the copper tape is very fragile, and it tears easily, so you want to be careful with it. You don't want to stand there and just play with it for a long time.
Oops, that's what I was doing earlier.
Yeah, so just be real careful with that.
So fun to play with, but yes, you want to be careful. It does tear a little bit easily, especially when you take it off the adhesive side.
Yeah. So this one's a little tricky. So me and Olga have been practicing a little bit. We're going to kind of do this one together to walk you through. This one takes a little patience and is tricky. So step 1, get this sheet of instruction paper that has all the strange lines drawn on it. That's this one I was telling you about here. So you want to turn to this page. All right, it's a little tricky. How do I describe it? All right, on this side, it's got folding instructions. We don't want that side yet. So you're going to turn it to the other side and lay it down right in front of you. All right, then we're going to get out our little LED lights. So we're going to take our battery, don't lose that, set that to the side, and we're going to put our little lights right there. All right, so next, you're going to get your tape. Now this is a little tricky. You might have better nails to do this. You're going to peel off a little bit of that backing off that tape. So you just get all your lights set up. just to pull off a little piece of that, get your paper out, and you can hit pause while you're doing that, and we'll be back in just a second. Welcome back. You can see we got all our stuff. Olga's got a little piece of this peeled off. Now she's going to carefully set that to the side. We wanted to peel that off ahead of time because we're going to need to move a little bit quick to this one step. But now, we're on step 2 where it says lay out your LED lights. So you got your LEDs. You need to look very carefully at them. It's got the little light with 2 wires coming out. This is very important. There's a short wire and a long wire. They're actually almost the same. That was kind of hard. It's tricky.
This one's longer.
So the longer side is plus. Always remember that. That's your plus side. The shorter side is your minus side. So you're going to look down here on your paper, and you're going to lay your little lights out where you'd like them to be.
So how about one right there?
So we're going to lay those out. Olga's going to kind of do the same.
Is that the longer, right? That's the shorter?
Double check. Very important. Yes. And then now it's flipped.
Here. Might take a few seconds. Okay, so I know it's a little bit tedious, but we're just going to look at this again. So this wee bit longer side right there, you see how it's a little bit longer than there? That's positive. Okay, so we're going to bend that, and just remember, and try to, when you put it down, to have the wire as like a V almost, because then you have more coverage of the copper. So the copper is letting more electricity go through, and if there's more electricity going through, then it should light up. So the same over here. That one's long. See, it's a little bit hard to tell, but let me just check real quick. Okay. This one's a little bit longer, and that's a little bit shorter. So we're gonna put it right there.
All right, so Olga's going to go ahead and lay out her lights. You can do kind of any pattern, any design you want, different colors, things like that. You just want to make sure that your lights kind of go from this part to this part, and from this part to this part. All right, so go ahead and lay out. You got to hope we get more lights.
More lights.
Yep. So
We got so many lights. We want to use them. Okay, let me just put that right there.
she's going to go ahead and finish up, make a pretty little design.
I'm going to get a yellow
And
one.
you can kind of do the same, and we will be back with you in just a second. So go ahead and hit pause. All right, so welcome back. Olga has her lights laid out. Now here, again, very tricky. You got to have kind of a steady hand. Olga is going to place the tape. Now she's going to cover all those little orange or yellowish orange bars you see. She's going to cover them with the copper tape, and the little wires of the LEDs are going to go right underneath that tape. So she's very carefully going to start doing that.
All right, so we are going to try. This is very tedious because these can move easily. So you want to try to lay this copper down over the yellow while going over the lights where you laid them down. And if you bent it a little bit like I did, that is okay. Just try to have it as, oh, you see, I am. That's all right. We're gonna go back a little bit like this. There we go. That's a little tricky, isn't it? Okay, now we're gonna take this, our scissors, and cut it right there. Okay. Now I am going to, because you see this yellow bar, it's connected to this, so I'm just going to lay that on top right there. Once again, it's a little tricky.
So Olga's going to go ahead and continue just covering all the yellow bars on this side of the paper, and then we will talk about what to do next in just a second. All right, everybody, so this is what you should have. She's kind of covered all along there and has her little LEDs down. And then next, we are going to flip the page over. So we had that. Now we're going to flip it over. And you can see there's more of these orange yellow bars that we got to cover with the copper. Now this side's a little bit tricky, because if you notice on your first side, you have this piece that comes down. Notice it actually wraps around the paper. All right, and then the same over here, it wraps around and it wraps around. So when you lay your copper tape, you want to make sure that a little bit goes past the edge, and you fold it over around and squish it down on top of the copper on the other side. So Olga's going to start working on that.
All right. This side looks actually a little bit easier than the first side. I'm just going to start off over here, fold it over a little bit since it's right over there. And getting these corners are a little bit tricky. I like to fold it over right there. Once again, it's really hard for this to be 100% perfect, but we're going to try. All right. Fold it over. This, because we're towards the end of our tape anyway, let me cut it off. Fold it this way. So use a little bit more tape over here. There. Okay, there we have it. Hopefully, that did it.
All right, so there she is. Just a quick review. We got our LEDs lined up. We got the tape on this side. Olga's very careful to make sure that we have a connection from this side of the paper to the other side of the paper. And then we're going to move on to the next step. Step 5. Next, you are going to fold your paper airplane. So here, where it gets a tiny bit tricky, you're going to start with this side where there's these instructions. Now I'm going to read them to you because it's kind of important to follow the steps correctly. So it says, this should be done after placing the copper tape and LEDs, but before inserting the battery. So we did our copper tape. We did our LEDs. We have not done the battery yet, so check. Find the fold numbers in order. So you're going to see these blue arrows and the little orange writing. See, it says fold number 1. It's got all these different numbers. We're going to go. You have to do them in the correct order. So always fold towards you. So like if I'm standing this way and it says to fold here, you're going to take it. You're going to fold it towards you. Don't fold it back. Fold it towards you every time. All right, and then for fold number 1, we're going to go ahead and we'll do that right now. So it says fold number 1 is this long line. See, fold number 1. You're going to fold towards you. Try and get it as lined up as good as you possibly can.
Hot dog style.
Yep. And you're just going to actually fold where your tape is even. Just folds nice and easy right along that line. And then what this said is fold number 1, crease the paper, and then unfold it. All the other numbers, once it's folded, it's folded. All right, so we did number 1. We opened it back up. So this one says fold number 2, this little corner piece. So we're going to go ahead towards you, right along there. And fold it. All right, and this one says fold number 3. So the same way.
I made the mistake of doing it away from me, and it got really confusing. So you always want to have it folded towards you.
All right, so you should have something that looks just like that now. All right, and then we can see right there in front of us, fold number 4, and that's this line here, which essentially is bringing the tip of your paper all the way down to the edge of the paper. So you can see that. You can bring it all the way down and fold it right along there. Boom. All right. So now
Halfway there.
it should look like that. That was fold number 4. So now we're on number 5. You can see, and that's why it was a little confusing at first. There's this little weird dotted line just showing up there. Now once it's folded, oh look at that. It makes more sense. You're going to fold right along that line, fold number 5. And that's just bringing it right into the center again.
Our airplane's coming together. I see it.
Right along there. There we go. And then fold number 6. Bring it right on down. Just like that. Now this one, it's kind of a neat little fold. You can see fold number 7 is this little like tail right here. You're going to keep those flaps that you just made down. You're going to take that little tail and fold it up right along that line. That kind of like locks your wings in place for you. Yeah, just like that. All right, next is fold number 8. Right down the center.
Almost there.
All right, so. And now you can see it says fold number 9 on both sides.
So you can do either or.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah. Fold that down. Now this is tricky. I'm going to bring this nice and close to the camera for you here.
Battery out.
All right, so when I'm folding where it says fold 9, I fold there and then look really carefully at my copper tape. You got a little bit of the paper right there. And the other side, gonna fold that as well. So that is what the bottom of your plane should look like. See if it's closed, open. So this side kind of makes an L. This side makes kind of a full C. You know, very important that you got those lined up just like that. So we'll give you a second if you need to go through and make sure all your folds are just right. And we will be back with you in just a second. All right, guys, we are back again. And one last step, we got this little tape here. You're going to peel off about a good inch of tape or so. And then you're going to tape that right across the back. There you go.
Cool.
So you got your little battery taped in, so your little airplane will stay lit. Very, very neat. Now, so step 8. This one's kind of important to us too, because you know what? We do this to teach you guys, but we also want to see you guys having fun. That, for me, is the best part, getting to see pictures of all you guys doing it. So it says, have your parents take a picture of your plane, swan, or a crane. We'll talk about the swan and crane again in a second. And on the 9th, the day after this kit is released, we are going to have a Facebook post that says, #ShowUsSunday. And we want you guys to post your pictures in the comment section there. And whatever picture that gets the most likes or loves, what's going to happen?
They are going to win a prize from us at the Hands-On Science Center.
Excellent. So get that picture posted in there. Tell all your friends and family to go and like the picture. And whoever gets the most is going to get a really, really awesome prize from us here. So that's great. One last thing to talk about one more time is this is blue section, the optional challenge. We definitely want to see it if you can do this one. So there is, let's see, basically there's tons of them on YouTube. Search origami swan if you want to go a little bit harder, or origami crane. And then the tricky part is you don't have a template for laying out your circuit. So we want to see how much you learned based on this and see if you can possibly create a circuit that works on a swan or a crane. Everybody that does one of those and posts it on Facebook, you get a chance to win that prize. If you get the most likes or loves, I'm going to throw in something special though. Anybody at all that posts a picture of a lit up swan or a crane is actually, that kid is going to get a 1-year membership to the Hands-On Science Center.
That's
And it's also
sweet.
not only good for the Hands-On Science Center, it's good all throughout the country at a bunch of different places, different science centers.
Oh,
We're going to
wow.
go ahead and do that because you guys are awesome. And because guess what else is happening very, very soon? Well, guess what?
What's happening?
We're going to be opening back to the public very, very soon. June
How
19th,
exciting.
we will be open. We're going to have a grand
Finally.
reopening celebration, big free event. So, we're opening. We want to do something special for our take-home science people. So anybody that posts a lit-up picture of a crane or a swan on our Show Us Sunday post, that is, what's the date of that?
That is on May 9th.
May 9th, right on our Facebook page.
That's on Mother's Day, so you can give a nice
Oh,
little
yeah,
gift
perfect.
to your mother. You can give your mom a little lit up crane or a origami swan. She
Yep.
would love
So
that.
any picture of a swan or crane gets that free annual membership, and then whichever picture, whether it's an airplane, swan, or a crane, that gets the most likes or loves is going to win another super awesome secret surprise. So we hope you guys do that. We hope you have fun.
Cool contest.
Thank you, Olga, once again.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Happy World Migratory Birthday also.